विश्व भर में लोगों से कहना चाहता हूं, कम मेक इन इंडिया।
Being here after so many years bring actually my eyes moist, because I remember my days of my teenage a little bit more when I started my social political journey here. You were my senior and you led the way to it as well. And I was a young chartered accountant trying to take the journey of my life in my hands. And thank you so much. Many of you here are known to me as well, and I feel so emotional today. Being emotional, I don't even know how well I will be able to speak, which I ordinarily don't do that. I'll try my best. Introducing myself to the new members here and Honorable Andrew and his better half. I'm Deepa Gupta, a Chartered Accountant of India and a Certified Public Accountant of Australia. In my 25 years of professional life journey in India, I've had the fortune to partner with industry, startups, professionals, community work, and also political to be an integral part of the growth story of India in its policy planning and implementation as well. My friend and colleague here, Mr. Vijayjolly, also a professional by education, passionate about bringing strengths and growth to everyone and anyone who comes in his loop, is unparalleled. I have special regards for him in that respect. And to say that, I quote a personal example of my own life story. I remember that when I just entered into the social political life from my student age, I was like a lost child trying to understand the power corridors, and I would say in English words, a dog trying to catch his own tail, going round and round in circles. And I would look dazed here and there, seeing big dignitaries, big politicians, bureaucrats, and everything going power, shining steel. And I just didn't know what to do. And I would stand there just dazed. And he'd say, come on, go, don't stand there, go do it, go, show your skills. You are an intelligent woman, you're a skilled woman, go. And if I wouldn't go, he would literally push me like that. And that push me brings me here where I am today. So thank you, Johnny, for doing all that. I'll never forget them in my life. And Honorable, I would like to say, just like I have been a part of the growth story of the India, for which I was here for 25 years of my life in the profession, I also like to be able to claim that now that I'm an Australian and a part and parcel of there, and Australia has laid its eyes on India as the star which is going to be one of the rising stars and wants to be in partner with that as well. So I would like to say, I would also like to be able to claim that I am a part of that growth story of Australia with connections to India. By leveraging on my experience and connects of India, like Vijay here, and many others here, and some others who are not here as well. And bring to the Australian policy, planning and delivery, thereby bringing the fruits of both the countries together, bringing a win-win situation to both the countries. The priorities of both the countries have already been laid by, which is in terms of STEM. For the audience, I will put it as science, technology, engineering and mathematics, all those areas. And also both the countries have moved forward with signing the FTA agreements in October, if I'm not wrong, Honourable Minister. And so that means they are serious about the matters, in which education has already gone very high, and the first University of Wollongong has already been opened in Australia, which is going to be done. I think tomorrow is going to be the ribbon cutting of the whole story tomorrow. Honorable Minister, and the audience here, I would also like to say that Australia has been very conscious about the Indian strengths, have also in the current visas given 1,000 extra places for Indians to have work holiday. Is it 1,000 for the work holiday? I don't remember the 1,000 figure, but I don't remember. For the first time, I remember when I went to Australia, I was not given. And I used to envy the people coming from Europe and America because they were sitting in the backpackers with work holiday. And I said, oh, I'm from a third world country. Is that why I don't get a work holiday? But today, India gets a work holiday permit, students. Congratulations to India and thank you to Australia, because India is my parent and Australia is where I belong today. My dear friends, it's not only that. When COVID happened, students had to come back here, and many of the students had spent lakhs of rupees to stay there and were not able to come back because their visas had expired. The Students' Federation over there and pro bonos like ours took up the matter with the government, and they got their visas back and they could come back to Australia and finish their studies and look up to their families and take care of them as well. Not only that, in the current year, the visa policy for where they had to go back and do the re-visa has been an exemption only made to Indian students and not to others. So thank you, Australia, and I think India should be feeling very blessed about it as well. Honorable Minister, well, everything is green, but everything is absolutely not green, because there are a few things which I'm also going to be talking, which are going to be needing your honored attention, because as you have written in your book that India is on a rising wave and we need to, Australia need to rise it. And the best part of the same is, I have not read your book, I'm sorry, I should have done it. I had a little bit of time, little less, I slept on the air time of the 10 hours, I would on going back. So you mentioned that there are a lot of misunderstandings between India and Australia as far as what India stands about Australia and Australia about India, in the sense they are walking in the past. They need to be in the concurrent. I totally agree with you that they need to be in the concurrent and understand the strengths existing on both the countries and come on a state where they say this is the present. Because India is not dealing with serpents and snake riders anymore, and Australia is growing older. It means Indians and young people like me. Okay. So now, Honorable Minister, I really appreciate the multiculturalism which you have adopted at your end, and understand that you have been to the temples, you have been to the Jain temple. I'm a Jain by birth, and I thank you very much for going and seeing the Jain temple in Rajasthan. Jaipur, you've also been celebrating Diwali with Chris Boy. Thank you for that as well. I've been tracking you. And also, as you have been mentioning, and Vijay also, we have 783,958 Indians in Australia, which constitutes 3.1% of the Australian population. And that is also 9.5% of the total overseas migrated population, which is second to UK, whereas, let me tell you, in Australia, I mean, because you don't know, Pommies are supposed to be the people in Australia, okay? And after Pommies, we Indians are the next best, so we are the next best. Okay, so because we are the next important number game. A number game is important, you all know, and politicians need it, you all know. Anyway, I also reiterate, since I'm coming from vibrant Gujarat, from Ahmedabad, what the Honorable Prime Minister of India has said, and correlated with what you said here, a bit of it. Number one, the most important thing that struck was Vasudev Kutumbakam, which he also said in the G20 conclave. And Vasudev Kutumbakam is one thesis, just like you have Ubuntu there. You have Ubuntu from Africa, and we have Vasudev Kutumbakam. And if you want to embrace India, you need to understand what's Vasudev Kutumbakam. And that's one world and one family. We are all a part of the extended family all over the world. The Pro Bono Mark Foundation, which I run, also has the logo Vasudev Kutumbakam. That will make you understand. It's really important for us. Very emotional and hard. Yes, that's really important for us. So that being the case, the Prime Minister said that we want to come together, and we want to take that all the countries come together and bring things together as togetherness with the sustainability, with not having a conflict, but coming to resolutions without conflict. And that's what Vasudev Kutumbakam spells as well. Honorable Minister, the Prime Minister of India also mentioned that India is pretty young in terms of many things where it is very attractive as far as investment is concerned. The 4 and 5 things which he identified, which I would like to bring to your information, was AI, for which India is doing leaps and bounds in a big way, and frog leaps, like I would say. The other was startups, digital technology, and just a moment. Digital technology, it was startups, it was, the road infrastructure in India has improved by 2 times over. The airports have gone from 74 to 145, and so many other things like that here. And considering that, Australia, and also we have a lot of skills, as we already know, skills and youth are another 2 areas which he identified. Now, Honourable Minister, we already know that in Australia we are having very important requirements as far as health sector is concerned. You and me both know that in the regional areas we do not have doctors for waiting for not hours but days together, and many times we've asked one of the, not the doctors to look up the next factor of education to look up the things. And India has enough number of skilled people in that regard and people who can support the health industry. So it will be extremely important that a high level of concentration takes place in that regard, so that any groups that exist in the system to that extent gets addressed. Also, Honourable Minister, I would like to bring to your information something which I was feeling very disappointed about. Last month being the festival month, I did not drive my car and I thought I would take Uber because I wanted to ride the city, and I happened to have an experience with 25 rides I did in Uber, out of which 18 of them were Indian drivers, and they were IT professionals having high qualifications of post-graduation in engineering and other. And on my asking them that why after this qualification, am I over? Yes. Well, okay, half a second, 30 seconds. And the last part of it is, most important part of the story is in the planning process of who's building this plan and a strategy, that the people who are integrally understanding the culture ethos of this country are part of the system there, who understand the country on the both sides and are able to deliver the best in terms of not having judgmental equations regarding the same. If those kind of things are put in place, I'm sure you would be diving into the ocean and bringing up the jewel called North Star India Australia. Thank you so much.